The new god of fusion. The new gods of fusion. The new god of fusion. The new goddess of fusion. The new goddesses of fusion. The new goddess of fusion. The old god of fusion. The old gods of fusion. The old god of fusion. The old goddess of fusion. The old goddesses of fusion. The old goddess of fusion. The greater god of fusion. The greater gods of fusion. The greater god of fusion. The greater goddess of fusion. The greater goddesses of fusion. The greater goddess of fusion. The lesser god of fusion. The lesser gods of fusion. The lesser god of fusion. The lesser goddess of fusion. The lesser goddesses of fusion. The lesser goddess of fusion. The higher god of fusion. The higher gods of fusion. The higher god of fusion. The higher goddess of fusion. The higher goddesses of fusion. The higher goddess of fusion. The lower god of fusion. The lower gods of fusion. The lower god of fusion. The lower goddess of fusion. The lower goddesses of fusion. The lower goddess of fusion. The greater spirit of fusion. The greater spirits of fusion. The greater spirit of fusion. The lesser spirit of fusion. The lesser spirits of fusion. The lesser spirit of fusion. The higher spirit of fusion. The higher spirits of fusion. The higher spirit of fusion. The lower spirit of fusion. The lower spirits of fusion. The lower spirit of fusion. The major god of fusion. The major gods of fusion. The major god of fusion. The major goddess of fusion. The major goddesses of fusion. The major goddess of fusion. The minor god of fusion. The minor gods of fusion. The minor god of fusion. The minor goddess of fusion. The minor goddesses of fusion. The minor goddess of fusion. The superior god of fusion. The superior gods of fusion. The superior god of fusion. The superior goddess of fusion. The superior goddesses of fusion. The superior goddess of fusion. The inferior god of fusion. The inferior gods of fusion. The inferior god of fusion. The inferior goddess of fusion. The inferior goddesses of fusion. The inferior goddess of fusion. The ancestor god of fusion. The ancestor gods of fusion. The ancestor god of fusion. The ancestor goddess of fusion. The ancestor goddesses of fusion. The ancestor goddess of fusion. The ascendant god of fusion. The ascendant gods of fusion. The ascendant god of fusion. The ascendant goddess of fusion. The ascendant goddesses of fusion. The ascendant goddess of fusion. The descendant god of fusion. The descendant gods of fusion. The descendant god of fusion. The descendant goddess of fusion. The descendant goddesses of fusion. The descendant goddess of fusion. The transcendent god of fusion. The transcendent gods of fusion. The transcendent god of fusion. The transcendent goddess of fusion. The transcendent goddesses of fusion. The transcendent goddess of fusion. The past god of fusion. The past gods of fusion. The past god of fusion. The past goddess of fusion. The past goddesses of fusion. The past goddess of fusion. The present god of fusion. The present gods of fusion. The present god of fusion. The present goddess of fusion. The present goddesses of fusion. The present goddess of fusion. The future god of fusion. The future gods of fusion. The future god of fusion. The future goddess of fusion. The future goddesses of fusion. The future goddess of fusion. The authentic god of fusion. The authentic gods of fusion. The authentic god of fusion. The authentic goddess of fusion. The authentic goddesses of fusion. The authentic goddess of fusion. The synthetic god of fusion. The synthetic gods of fusion. The synthetic god of fusion. The synthetic goddess of fusion. The synthetic goddesses of fusion. The synthetic goddess of fusion. The progressive god of fusion. The progressive gods of fusion. The progressive god of fusion. The progressive goddess of fusion. The progressive goddesses of fusion. The progressive goddess of fusion. The regressive god of fusion. The regressive gods of fusion. The regressive god of fusion. The regressive goddess of fusion. The regressive goddesses of fusion. the regressive goddess of fusion, the ordinary god of fusion, the ordinary gods of fusion, the ordinary god of fusion, the ordinary goddess of fusion, the ordinary goddesses of fusion, the ordinary goddess of fusion, the extraordinary god of fusion, the extraordinary gods of fusion, the extraordinary god of fusion, the extraordinary goddess of fusion, the extraordinary goddesses of fusion, the extraordinary goddess of fusion, the static god of fusion, the static gods of fusion, the static god of fusion, the static goddess of fusion, the static goddesses of fusion, the static goddess of fusion, the dynamic god of fusion, the dynamic gods of fusion, the dynamic god of fusion, the dynamic goddess of fusion, the dynamic goddesses of fusion, the dynamic goddess of fusion, the land god of fusion, the land gods of fusion, the land god of fusion, the land goddess of fusion, the land goddesses of fusion, the land goddess of fusion, the sea god of fusion, the sea gods of fusion, the sea god of fusion, the sea goddess of fusion, the sea goddesses of fusion, the sea goddess of fusion, the sky god of fusion, the sky gods of fusion, the sky god of fusion, the sky goddess of fusion, the sky goddesses of fusion, the sky goddess of fusion, the god of fusion, the gods of fusion, the god of fusion, the goddess of fusion, the goddesses of fusion, the goddess of fusion, the half god of fusion, the half gods of fusion, the half god of fusion, the half goddess of fusion, the half goddesses of fusion, the half goddess of fusion, the vessel of fusion, the vessels of fusion, the vessel of fusion, the name of fusion, the names of fusion, the name of fusion, the person of fusion, the persons of fusion, the person of fusion, the persona of fusion, the personas of fusion, the persona of fusion, the personage of fusion, the personages of fusion, the personage of fusion, the personality of fusion, the personalities of fusion, the personality of fusion, the personification of fusion, the personifications of fusion, the personification of fusion, the image of fusion, the images of fusion, the image of fusion, the imagination of fusion, the imaginations of fusion, the imagination of fusion, the belief of fusion, the beliefs of fusion, the belief of fusion, the thought of fusion, the thoughts of fusion, the thought of fusion, the word of fusion, the words of fusion, the word of fusion, the action of fusion, the actions of fusion, the action of fusion, the reaction of fusion, the reactions of fusion, the reaction of fusion, the feeling of fusion, the feelings of fusion, the feeling of fusion, the situation of fusion, the situations of fusion, the situation of fusion, the circumstance of fusion, the circumstances of fusion, the circumstance of fusion, the environment of fusion, the environments of fusion, the environment of fusion, the relationship of fusion, the relationships of fusion, the relationship of fusion, the number of fusion, the numbers of fusion, the number of fusion, the formula of fusion, the formulas of fusion, the formula of fusion, the equation of fusion, the equations of fusion, the equation of fusion, the theory of fusion, the theories of fusion, the theory of fusion, the symbol of fusion, the symbols of fusion, the symbol of fusion, the color of fusion, the colors of fusion, the color of fusion, the thing of fusion, the things of fusion, the thing of fusion, the way of fusion, the ways of fusion, the way of fusion, the place of fusion, the places of fusion, the place of fusion, the time of fusion, the times of fusion, the time of fusion, the event of fusion, the events of fusion, the event of fusion, the result of fusion, the results of fusion, the result of fusion, the crown of fusion, the crowns of fusion, the crown of fusion, the throne of fusion, the thrones of fusion, the throne of fusion, the fusion king, the fusion kings, the fusion kingdom, the fusion kingdoms, the fusion king subject, the fusion king subjects, the fusion king's dominion, the fusion king's dominions, the kingdom of fusion, the kingdoms of fusion, the kingdom of fusion, the fusion queen, the fusion queens, the fusion queendom, the fusion queendoms, the fusion queen subject, the fusion queen subjects, the fusion queen's dominion, the fusion queen's dominions, the queendom of fusion, the queendoms of fusion, the queendom of fusion, the fusion prince, the fusion princes, the fusion princedom, the fusion princedoms, the fusion prince's subject, the fusion prince's subjects, the fusion prince's dominion, the fusion prince's dominions, the princedom of fusion, the princedoms of fusion, the princedom of fusion, the fusion princess, the fusion princesses, the fusion princessdom, the fusion princessdoms, the fusion princess's subject, the fusion princess's subjects, the fusion princess's dominion, the fusion princess's dominions, the princessdom of fusion, the princessdoms of fusion, the princessdom of fusion, the lord of fusion, the lords of fusion, the lord of fusion, the lordess of fusion, the lordesses of fusion, the lordess of fusion, the priest of fusion, the priests of fusion, the priest of fusion, the priestess of fusion, the priestesses of fusion, the priestess of fusion, the ritual of fusion, the rituals of fusion, the ritual of fusion, the shrine of fusion, the shrines of fusion, the shrine of fusion, the temple of fusion, the temples of fusion, the temple of fusion, the leader of fusion, the leaders of fusion, the leader of fusion, the follower of fusion, the followers of fusion, the follower of fusion, the natural substance of fusion, the natural substances of fusion, the natural substance of fusion, the supernatural substance of fusion, the supernatural substances of fusion, the supernatural substance of fusion, the temporal substance of fusion, the temporal substances of fusion, the temporal substance of fusion, the spiritual substance of fusion, the spiritual substances of fusion, the spiritual substance of fusion, the natural form of fusion, the natural forms of fusion, the natural form of fusion, the supernatural form of fusion, the supernatural forms of fusion, the supernatural form of fusion, the temporal form of fusion, the temporal forms of fusion, the temporal form of fusion, the spiritual form of fusion, the spiritual forms of fusion, the spiritual form of fusion, the age of fusion, the ages of fusion, the age of fusion, the era of fusion, the eras of fusion, the era of fusion, the awakener of fusion, the awakeners of fusion, the awakener of fusion, the awakening of fusion, the awakenings of fusion, the awakening of fusion, the realm of fusion, the realms of fusion, the realm of fusion, the dimension of fusion, the dimensions of fusion, the dimension of fusion, the zone of fusion, the zones of fusion, the zone of fusion, the frequency of fusion, the frequencies of fusion, the frequency of fusion, the century of fusion, the centuries of fusion, the century of fusion, the millennium of fusion, the millenniums of fusion, the millennium of fusion, the purpose of fusion, the purposes of fusion, the purpose of fusion, the meaning of fusion, the meanings of fusion, the meaning of fusion, the culture of fusion, the cultures of fusion, the culture of fusion, the demonstrator of fusion, the demonstrators of fusion, the demonstrator of fusion, the demonstration of fusion, the demonstrations of fusion, the demonstration of fusion, the manifester of fusion, the manifestors of fusion, the manifester of fusion, the manifestation of fusion, the manifestations of fusion, the manifestation of fusion, the presence of fusion, the presences of fusion, the presence of fusion, the glow of fusion, the glows of fusion, the glow of fusion, the goal of fusion, the goals of fusion, the goal of fusion, the plan of fusion, the plans of fusion, the plan of fusion, the book of fusion, the books of fusion, the book of fusion, the philosopher of fusion, the philosophers of fusion, the philosopher of fusion, the philosophy of fusion, the philosophies of fusion, the philosophy of fusion, the releaser of fusion, the releasers of fusion, the releaser of fusion, the release of fusion, the releases of fusion, the release of fusion, the variable of fusion, the variables of fusion, the variable of fusion, the cause of fusion, the causes of fusion, the cause of fusion, the effect of fusion, the effects of fusion, the effect of fusion, the journey of fusion, the journeys of fusion, the journey of fusion, the emergence of fusion, the emergences of fusion, the emergence of fusion, the source of fusion, the sources of fusion, the source of fusion, the originator of fusion, the originators of fusion, the originator of fusion, the origin of fusion, the origins of fusion, the origin of fusion, the forefather of fusion, the forefathers of fusion, the forefather of fusion, the foremother of fusion, the foremothers of fusion, the foremother of fusion, the ancestor of fusion, the ancestors of fusion, the ancestor of fusion, the descendant of fusion, the descendants of fusion, the descendant of fusion, the lineage of fusion, the lineages of fusion, the lineage of fusion, the heritage of fusion, the heritages of fusion, the heritage of fusion, the heir of fusion, the heirs of fusion, the heir of fusion, the co-heir of fusion, the co-heirs of fusion, the co-heir of fusion, the joint heir of fusion, the joint heirs of fusion, the joint heir of fusion, the dynasty of fusion, the dynasties of fusion, the dynasty of fusion, the force of fusion, the forces of fusion, the force of fusion, the law of fusion, the laws of fusion, the law of fusion, the pact of fusion, the pacts of fusion, the pact of fusion, the game of fusion, the games of fusion, the game of fusion, the mask of fusion, the masks of fusion, the mask of fusion, the armor of fusion, the armors of fusion, the armor of fusion, the sword of fusion, the swords of fusion, the sword of fusion, the shield of fusion, the shields of fusion, the shield of fusion, the force shield of fusion, the force shields of fusion, the force shield of fusion, the armored force shield of fusion, the armored force shields of fusion, the armored force shield of fusion, the champion of fusion, the champions of fusion, the champion of fusion, the guardian of fusion, the guardians of fusion, the guardian of fusion, the defender of fusion, the defenders of fusion, the defender of fusion, the protector of fusion, the protectors of fusion, the protector of fusion, the chant of fusion, the chants of fusion, the chant of fusion, the shape of fusion, the shapes of fusion, the shape of fusion, the cube of fusion, the cubes of fusion, the cube of fusion, the cuboid of fusion, the cuboids of fusion, the cuboid of fusion, the sphere of fusion, the spheres of fusion, the sphere of fusion, the spheroid of fusion, the spheroids of fusion, the spheroid of fusion, the prism of fusion, the prisms of fusion, the prism of fusion, the pyramid of fusion, the pyramids of fusion, the pyramid of fusion, the cylinder of fusion, the cylinders of fusion, the cylinder of fusion, the cone of fusion, the cones of fusion, the cone of fusion, the triangle of fusion, the triangles of fusion, the triangle of fusion, the circle of fusion, the circles of fusion, the circle of fusion, the semicircle of fusion, the semicircles of fusion, the semicircle of fusion, the square of fusion, the squares of fusion, the square of fusion, the rectangle of fusion, the rectangles of fusion, the rectangle of fusion, the parallelogram of fusion, the parallelograms of fusion, the parallelogram of fusion, the rhombus of fusion, the rhombuses of fusion, the rhombus of fusion, The trapezoid of fusion. The trapezoids of fusion. The trapezoid of fusion. The polygon of fusion. The polygons of fusion. The polygon of fusion. The pentagon of fusion. The pentagons of fusion. The pentagon of fusion. The hexagon of fusion. The hexagons of fusion. The hexagon of fusion. The septagon of fusion. The septagons of fusion. The septagon of fusion. The octagon of fusion. The octagons of fusion. The octagon of fusion. The nonagon of fusion. The nonagons of fusion. The nonagon of fusion. The decagon of fusion. The decagons of fusion. The decagon of fusion. The evolution of fusion. The evolutions of fusion. The evolution of fusion. The revolution of fusion. The revolutions of fusion. The revolution of fusion. The elemental art of fusion. The elemental arts of fusion. The elemental art of fusion. The elemental science of fusion. The elemental sciences of fusion. The elemental science of fusion. The elemental principle of fusion. The elemental principles of fusion. The elemental principle of fusion. The elemental technology of fusion. The elemental technologies of fusion. The elemental technology of fusion. The low elemental art of fusion. The low elemental arts of fusion. The low elemental art of fusion. The low elemental science of fusion. The low elemental sciences of fusion. The low elemental science of fusion. The low elemental principle of fusion. The low elemental principles of fusion. The low elemental principle of fusion. The low elemental technology of fusion. The low elemental technologies of fusion. The low elemental technology of fusion. The high elemental art of fusion. The high elemental arts of fusion. The high elemental art of fusion. The high elemental science of fusion. The high elemental sciences of fusion. The high elemental science of fusion. The high elemental principle of fusion. The high elemental principles of fusion. The high elemental principle of fusion. The high elemental technology of fusion. The high elemental technologies of fusion. The high elemental technology of fusion. The agent of fusion. The agents of fusion. The agent of fusion. The agency of fusion. The agencies of fusion. The agency of fusion. The amplifier of fusion. The amplifiers of fusion. The amplifier of fusion. The amplification of fusion. The amplifications of fusion. The amplification of fusion. The enhancer of fusion. The enhancers of fusion. The enhancer of fusion. The enhancement of fusion. The enhancements of fusion. The enhancement of fusion. The magnifier of fusion. The magnifiers of fusion. The magnifier of fusion. The magnification of fusion. The magnifications of fusion. The magnification of fusion. The influencer of fusion. The influencers of fusion. The influencer of fusion. The influence of fusion. The influences of fusion. The influence of fusion. The emanator of fusion. The emanators of fusion. The emanator of fusion. The emanation of fusion. The emanations of fusion. The emanation of fusion. The converger of fusion. The convergers of fusion. The converger of fusion. The convergence of fusion. The convergences of fusion. The convergence of fusion. The aura of fusion. The auras of fusion. The aura of fusion. The impression of fusion. The impressions of fusion. The impression of fusion. The intelligence of fusion. The intelligences of fusion. The intelligence of fusion. The sophistication of fusion. The sophistications of fusion. The sophistication of fusion. The genius of fusion. The geniuses of fusion. The genius of fusion. The polymath of fusion. The polymaths of fusion. The polymath of fusion. The psychic of fusion. The psychics of fusion. The psychic of fusion. The knowledge of fusion. The knowledges of fusion. The knowledge of fusion. The understanding of fusion. The understandings of fusion. The understanding of fusion. The wisdom of fusion. The wisdoms of fusion. The wisdom of fusion. The secret of fusion. The secrets of fusion. The secret of fusion. The mystery of fusion. The mysteries of fusion. The mystery of fusion. The revelation of fusion. The revelations of fusion. The revelation of fusion. The tactic of fusion. The tactics of fusion. The tactic of fusion. The strategy of fusion. The strategies of fusion. The strategy of fusion. The strength of fusion. The strengths of fusion. The strength of fusion. The might of fusion. The mights of fusion. The might of fusion. The power of fusion. The powers of fusion. The power of fusion. The authority of fusion. The authorities of fusion. The authority of fusion. The dominion of fusion. The dominions of fusion. The dominion of fusion. The rhythm of fusion. The rhythms of fusion. The rhythm of fusion. The melody of fusion. The melodies of fusion. The melody of fusion. The music of fusion. The musics of fusion. The music of fusion. The lyric of fusion. The lyrics of fusion. The lyric of fusion. The song of fusion. The songs of fusion. The song of fusion. The dance of fusion. The dances of fusion. The dance of fusion. The spirit of fusion. The spirits of fusion. The spirit of fusion. The soul of fusion. The souls of fusion. The soul of fusion. The body of fusion. The bodies of fusion. The body of fusion. The mark of fusion. The marks of fusion. The mark of fusion. The promise of fusion. The promises of fusion. The promise of fusion. The visionary of fusion. The visionaries of fusion. The visionary of fusion. The vision of fusion. The visions of fusion. The vision of fusion. The picture of fusion. The pictures of fusion. The picture of fusion. The sound of fusion. The sounds of fusion. The sound of fusion. The dung of fusion. The dungs of fusion. The dung of fusion. The language of fusion. The languages of fusion. The language of fusion. The communication of fusion. The communications of fusion. The communication of fusion. The people of fusion. The peoples of fusion. The people of fusion. The society of fusion. The societies of fusion. The society of fusion. The fortress of fusion. The fortresses of fusion. The fortress of fusion. The government of fusion. The governments of fusion. The government of fusion. The city of fusion. The cities of fusion. The city of fusion. The nation of fusion. The nations of fusion. The nation of fusion. The civilization of fusion. The civilizations of fusion. The civilization of fusion. The world of fusion. The worlds of fusion. The world of fusion.